we just submitted a paper on this. Was looking at different cold tolerance traits in different populations of fruit flies. And the populations, we had them in the lab, but they were originally derived from flies that were collected in different parts of Europe and Africa. And we were interested in how those populations differed in cold tolerance. And the what we ended up finding out was that if you compare their ability to survive a mild chronic cold stress, so we had them at 4 degrees just for 4 days, um, there are really obvious differences. So we had a French population and an Egyptian population, and the French population just survived so much better than the Egyptian population. It was quite obvious. I tried to use I numbered my vials so I wouldn't know which line was which when I was recording the data, but it was obvious. However, when I compared them on some other cold tolerance traits, like the temperature at which they go into a chill coma, they were all kind of the same. And so that was really interesting because there are examples of other insects where a species, for example, that's from the north will go into a chill coma at a much lower temperature than a species that's from somewhere warm. So it was interesting just that, they differ based on one trait, but then not others. Um, and that was a bit of a surprise because typically they'll be more cold tolerant based on a whole bunch of different traits, or they just suck based on a whole bunch of different traits.
Okay. But you actually can usually induce a chill coma at about 4 degrees Celsius.
For fruit flies, yeah, like once they get down to 4, so 4 is like a little bit below their chilcoma onset temperature typically. But you do sometimes have some, like if you pre-treat them in certain ways, you can reduce that temperature. And that there is definitely some variation with, like, there are some populations which do have lower chilcoma onset temperatures than others, just not the ones we were working with.